Hey everyone, Rose Gold here. If you heard last week's episode, you know that this is actually episode 57, and the previous one is episode 56. You know that we had to do some rearranging, so we worked that out. This is episode 57, and the other one is episode 56. And if you haven't heard 56, stop this audio right now and go and listen to that one. And for those who are waiting for this one, hey, welcome to it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Enjoy the show.
This is the Symposium podcast with Wright and Romero.
I got a question for both of you. Can you explain to me the cherry and the spoon?
What's there to explain?
What is the significance of
It's a
that?
cherry that's on a spoon.
But why is it a thing?
You asking too many questions, sir.
It's kind of like the new one, right? It's the blue cock.
Oh, yeah. Why is that a thing?
I don't know.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Symposium podcast. On the other side of the chair, let the people know who you are, sir.
I go by the name Wright. Welcome back. Excuse my fucking eye right now. It's I think it's eyelash in it, but I will be blinking a lot, so sorry about that.
He's not tweaking.
yeah. Kick it back to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is I, Rose Gold. I'm finally back. Got the gold on me. Got one tucked in. You know what it is, man. The boy is back, finally. It's good to be back. Today, we have a special guest in between us. Let the people know who you are, sir.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin.
Kevin! Motherfucking McCrane. It's my man's right here. We'll tell y'all why he is here. We're gonna get into some things, as always, talk about some nice topics. But before we do that, as always, we gotta toast it up. So, gentlemen, and to the people, welcome to the party.
How you feeling, man? What's going on?
So, as you know, we went out last night. It was a good time.
Real good time.
Really, really
I think
good
I
time.
lost my voice, man. I didn't even know.
Yeah, having a scream in there. I don't know how you guys did that for what, like 3 hours, 4 hours? Shit, I got there late.
Technically, we had breaks. Wasn't screaming the whole night. It was like drink, yell, pizza.
Yeah.
So I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. I'm feeling pretty good. A little tired because I completely forgot it's daylight savings.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if so long as you're not feeling like shit on daylight savings,
Yeah.
then you're winning.
Well, that's good. I
Doing better than
feel a
the
lot
rest
better
of
about
us.
myself then. Like, yeah,
Everybody hates this goddamn day.
I'm good. I'm good, man. How are you, brother?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. You know,
Minus the eye.
minus the fucking.
It's really
eye
fucking with you right
irritation.
now.
Yeah, it is.
God damn.
Other than that, I can't complain, man. I'm doing all right. I'm a little tired,
Yeah.
but you know, I'll be fine.
Cool.
Probably, you know, have a couple today. And,
Sip a little. Do a little.
yeah, a little bit.
We'll see. A little Sunday fun day action. Sir, how are you?
Again, aside from losing some sleep, you know, might throw a temper tantrum later because I'm cranky, but you know.
Oh, you just need a sandwich. You'll be all right.
Nah, I'm surrounded by these two fellas. I think I'm in an okay place.
Cool. Glad to hear, sir. Glad to hear. That being said, why don't we get into some news? First thing, should talk about, I don't know if you guys have been up on this, but actually we've been talking about this. Student loans. Student loan forgiveness. This has been a thing. Biden, a.k.a. Big Joe, he has been talking about, you know, reducing student loans or basically canceling them. But recently, This was in the news. This comes from Forbes. Biden will cancel $6.2 billion of student loans. Let's see. Yeah. So that's a lot of money. A lot of money.
I still don't believe it though.
Oh yeah, no, I'll believe it when I see it.
It's in Forbes, man. Look, it's got to be real.
No, I'll believe it when I stop getting shit in the mail.
Well, how many campaign promises has he come through on?
I don't
That
know.
was always one of them, and again, it was I'll believe it when I see it. I mean,
Like I hope, but I just ain't getting my hopes up either. But.
Technically, you can have student loan forgiveness. Like your loans can get canceled out, but there are certain like hoops or certain hurdles you have to go over. One of them is it depends on the school. Another one is it income? I don't think it's income. Like you have to be in a special program. That's what it is. And then there are some other criterias, but whatever. Biden canceled that shit. I don't think I'll be paying that shit anytime soon, man.
nah, he probably thinks he's already thrown his bones by the pandemic relief.
I didn't.
The repayments. You know, there's no.
Oh, because of fucking no.
Yeah, no, they just keep extending it. Like, oh yeah, you don't have to make payments right now. So that's how he's helping. That's him following through on his promise.
Well, listen, I greatly appreciate that. You can put that on hold forever, because I'm never paying that shit.
No interest though.
Actually, I probably shouldn't say shit like that, because they come over to me, Mr. Green, we heard you said, nah, man, I didn't say that.
You're actively broadcasting.
No criminal activity. Outside of that, we go back and forth on this. We try not to talk about this, but it needs to be acknowledged. Kanye is fucking wilding out. Did you see what he said today on Instagram?
Which part?
He was talking about his daughter being on TikTok again, and how he did not like that.
Yeah.
And what else did Kanye say? Oh, then he talked about how he was moving dates around and he's still not able to see his children. Something about DL Hughley. Why did I butcher his name? I'm so sorry. So funny.
We know
dude,
he's
too.
watching. He's a big fan.
I am. DL Hughley. Like, what did he say about Kanye?
Well, he basically called him a stalker for like the shit he was, when he was trying to see his family and doing all that, moving, buying a house.
Yeah.
And like he was talking shit. He was some.
Hughley was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
No surprise.
yeah, Kanye probably should relax about what he's saying, but
Nope.
but talk about the man getting his address and shit like that. But
Oh, yeah. He said, oh my God, he threatened that man's life.
Yeah. But stop playing with his name, man. But the TikTok shit. Excuse me. Oh, voice cracker. The just not him not being able to, like that part is I don't see a problem with where he moving, moving time and like changing, just to try to see his daughter and shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, like when it comes to kids, it's tough,
Sure.
But,
It's I don't know. I think that's really hard.
yeah.
I think like Kanye has always been in the news since he became famous, but I've said it multiple times on the podcast. It's like when Kanye and Kim Kardashian actually fall out, they get a divorce, shit's gonna be bad. And here it is, like a year later, where they're not only divorced, but they've been going through this for like a year, right? And so you're seeing the aftermath of it. I didn't know it would be this bad.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't. I didn't know. I didn't know how it would escalate. And I didn't think it would be this public. Like, there's just some shit that needs to be private. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't need...
Well, that's true, too.
Like, I don't need to... Even as a fan, I don't need to know these things. I don't. This is your personal life, sir. If you're going through it, I understand, but there's I don't know what the word is, like, but there's a place. There are people for that. Fans is not it. Whatever. I'm just one fucking man. Kevin, thoughts?
I don't give two shits. Also, I mean, don't they have the money to be able to afford, the right people to be able to keep this shit under wraps? Or does Kanye just need to feel he needs to steep to new lows?
Have you met Kanye? Do you know this? Do you know who we're talking about?
I know we're not talking about someone who's mentally stable. No disrespect.
No,
but I mean,
this is
there's clearly something more.
There's definitely something there.
On.
I think it's more going on for sure.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like how do you split the difference? Basically, like how can you tell what's justified in terms of what he's saying or what he's doing, and what's like him being bipolar, basically. Okay, him being on Instagram, somebody should probably take his phone. That's legit.
Yeah.
Him expressing certain things, such as moving dates to see his kids, I'm like, that's fair. You being a dad. Mm-hmm. If you're not getting that, then yeah, that you speak on that. But I don't know. And very interesting too. Who you don't hear shit from? Kim Kardashian. Not a peep. You see her doing shit, living her life, but not a fucking word. And I'm not saying that she should. It's just like, this is very one-sided. One is vocal and another one is very, very different. We'll get into that. That just made me realize something. I thought about it, but
I was gonna say you could probably do an entire episode.
yeah, we'll touch on it. We'll touch on it a little later. But anyways, that's news to me. Fuck all that other shit. Kevin McCrane. So happy you're here, sir. Very excited.
For those of you that think I'm Irish, I'm not.
He's not. No.
St. Patrick's coming
That's
out.
right, everybody.
That's why we're out
We got a
last
white
night.
boy. We got another one. We got another one for St. Patty's weekend. You're welcome. No. My man is on today because we have some questions, and he lives a very interesting life. And just wanted to tap into his brain a little bit, see what's going on in there. First and foremost, you are born and raised Minnesota.
Yes.
I was wondering where that was going.
No, you're
This
very,
ain't-
you're
this
very
isn't court.
generous
This is
in, telling everyone I lead an interesting life.
I know. I'm
you work
curious.
from home,
I'm curious
play
what's
at
up.
home. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll start there. Like, what do you do? What is your profession? This is not court, motherfuckers.
So I work for a IT software company. So we basically enable everyone that's working from home right now. So we talk the talk, we got to walk the walk. So
Sure.
yeah, which then gets you living at home, and then you realize all the changes that you want to make to your house because you're like, man, I'm actually spending time here.
Yeah.
But yeah, beyond that, I live at home with my girlfriend. We got a couple fur babies.
You're a family man now.
I know. Well, it feels weird because now we start calling each other like mom and dad, even though we have absolutely no plans to have kids in our future. But this is going to be the next closest thing. So that's kind of strange. Again, more interesting things about myself. But yeah, beyond that, I think, having been born and raised here, I think a point you're probably that's going to come up later down the road is the fact that I've also gotten outside of the States.
Yeah.
As well. So gain perspective.
True.
So
Yes, sir.
I have opinions. They may not be factual or valid, but
What are you doing to your house? What changes have you done so far?
well, that's what's tough. So in this crazy housing market, for those that may not be familiar, yeah, it's been tough. So that being said, I bought my childhood home, which is kind of surreal because
that's really
I
cool.
still have the same neighbors from when I was like a fucking toddler. So that's a trip. But yeah, changes. So like, it's nice having someone come in with a fresh set of eyes, just because that house is the only way I've ever known it. It can
Yeah.
only be this way.
Right.
You're used to it being,
Right.
It's what's familiar.
It's nice to get some new perspective on it, which has actually been really, really great. So yeah, we've been getting new furniture. My dining room is in shambles right now with like wallpaper everywhere. So we're starting small, and then as soon as things finally start to thaw out, we'll see. We'll get some landscaping going on.
Okay.
Was there ever any hesitance when it came to just the conversation of changing things?
Yeah, I think there's a stigma that everyone kind of gets that way. Just like, oh my God, it's his childhood home.
Yeah.
I think even like in The Office, which I haven't caught up on the later seasons, but like Jim and Pam or whatever, like doesn't Jim also move into his childhood home or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Pam feels like she's walking on eggshells,
Yeah.
like trying to like, oh my God, can we do this? Can we change that?
Do whatever
I'm
you
open
want.
for it. I mean, yeah, you got to be able to make it your own. And I think she's finally starting to see like I actually mean it when I say that because, again, we've been having all this stuff that's been going on. There's probably like 4 projects all going on simultaneously right now. So it's weird, but again, you got to recognize like it's just a house, and if you think about it, it's sort of strange. But this house will outlive me.
Yeah.
But during the time that I'm there, like be able to make it my own,
Yeah.
put my own spin on it. Got some ideas from what my parents and how they use the space, but at the same time, again, we weren't working from home 24/7.
Is it weird? Like, wait, what room did you take?
That's a good
like
question.
As the bedroom?
Yeah.
Or like, no, it's the same bedroom.
No,
So
like
my,
whose bedroom did you take?
My parents.
Okay, is that weird?
Or
was it?
Maybe like the first few nights or
Yeah.
something, but
That's where they made you.
actually, that's not true. I know far more details about all of that than I really, really should know, but it was not there, actually.
Well, that's lucky.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, man, like, like it would be like you said. It was like for the first little bit, it was like, damn, this is kind of weird. This is like I grew up in this house, so it's like, but
There's also like some sense of peace
Yeah.
In that as well. I mean,
Okay.
I feel very, very comfortable and probably even too much to a fault because like, I don't know, as a kid growing up, you're innocent, you think that there's no crime or like everyone is out there.
Little do you know.
To do good. Yeah. And then my neighbor tells me that they had their garage broken into and it's like, what? That's not a thing that happens here. Like, no, that's impossible. But yeah, I mean, it's good. I wouldn't have had it any other way. I mean, again, that's the only way I can probably afford a house right now without probably looking at the first set of suburbs.
Yeah.
Maybe on a stretch could try to find something in South Minneapolis, but even still.
Good luck. Fuck. We were talking about that last night about the market and shit and where I'm looking. It is goddamn ridiculous. But that I'm not going to get into that. Now, you did say a couple things that I wanted to touch on. One of them being that you did live out of the state. You were out of the state for a few years, actually.
Yes, a few, more than a few.
Yeah. You were in Boulder,
I was in Boulder, for a couple years.
and then you went from there to Alaska.
Went to Alaska, of all places. Yes.
Really? Okay.
For someone that comes from a dark and cold place for 9 months out of the year, I went to an even darker, not
Yeah.
colder. You think that being that far up north, I mean, you learn about it in school. Everyone's like living in an igloo or something.
Yeah,
But
right.
no, it is warmer because they're by the ocean where I was at.
It's not physically cold, just cold in your heart.
what brought that? Like, why did you go out there?
Oh, I followed a girl.
It was a woman.
Yeah, I followed a girl, and we all know how that works out when you
told
do
your
it
dumbass not to
across the
go.
country. Well,
But at least
Again.
at least you could say you been to Alaska. You lived in Alaska.
no regrets.
Yeah.
But yes, that's not the first place I would have chosen to move. But she was already up there, and she was more stubborn than me. So,
Okay.
and then lastly, after Alaska, I mean, you knew these details,
Yes.
but then after then, I had an internship in the Bay Area.
Yeah,
so
I
was out
forgot
living
about
my-
that. Yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
Pandemic and all. Fuck.
Pandemic and all, in a strange place where you know no one, and everything is closing down.
Well, we should touch on that. Like, why were you in the Bay? Tell them that.
No, so I got an internship down there working for a fruit stand. And I was just super eager and excited to take that opportunity that I thought moving from Alaska to California was my best career choice.
How do you internship at a fruit stand? What type of?
Also known as Apple Store.
Oh,
But no, I actually during the campus, so I did get to work at corporate, so we had nice offices and shit. It
I'm
wasn't
like, wait a
yo,
minute,
you want
what?
this iPhone? But yes, had an internship with Apple, and again, even companies like that big, they had to struggle with everybody working remote because like the equipment that we were working on, you had to be behind like 2 sets of locked doors, and then the fact that they're like, well, we only allow you to work like this because you're behind secure doors. You know, they're super secretive and all this shit. You know, I'm not going to reveal anything just because it's no longer relevant. It's already been released. So, but yeah, then they were like, well, if everyone's working remote and you guys need to have all these secure things, like, well, you can't work. So then you just paid a shit ton of money to have everyone come out and move across the country to spend 6 months here.
right.
So they had to make some exceptions to their policies and allow us to take stuff off site.
That's Apple. They can do that. So now here's my question for you. In your travels, especially being a homegrown Minnesotan, what's been the most what's the word that I'm looking for? Like has stand out to you the most to go from here, move to these other parts, and then to come back home? Because you're not the same person as when you left.
No, nor was I the same person when I went abroad too in college.
That's true.
Internationally. So, but yeah. So homecoming. I mean, let me start by saying this: that when I left Minnesota, I always intended to return. Like this was always where I was going to, you know, become an adult, grow my career, and I mean, I'm not retired yet. I don't know if there's a Florida move in my future, but that's neither here nor there.
Sure.
But yeah, coming back was always something because I mean, us Midwestern kids, we always find our way back home. It doesn't matter where you go.
You're born here.
There's
You're
a large
raised
majority.
here.
Those Midwestern values,
You'll die here.
precisely. But yeah, coming back, I mean, so I paid attention. You know, my parents are here. I'm an only child, so I have a lot of connections. You know, a lot of my friends, of course. You guys are back here. So I kind of try to pay attention to what's going on at home. And then you also hear, like, you know, you're meeting new people, making new friends. You talk to them, you tell them where you're from. And they tell you, or you tell them you're from Minnesota. And then all of a sudden, what everyone thinks of Minnesota is now like projected onto you, and you're like, oh, this is actually what people think.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, I've been there, but yeah, people are really cliquey, or this, that, or the other. And so then I kind of like resisted that a little bit, and then I come back and like, oh my God, it's true. It's so true. Like everyone is just friends with like people that they grew up with, like from high school or college or whatever. Like they don't ever expand.
Right.
Their friend groups.
And we were.
That was.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Well, that was just one aspect. The other one, though, is the stupid food thing.
What?
Do you know about this? So, like, you get it with a group of people, whether you're at a restaurant or at home or something like that, whatever. You get a pizza, right? You get a large, I don't know, 16-inch pizza or something like that. Everyone's enjoying it. It's a really delicious pizza, but no one takes the last slice.
Oh, fuck all that.
No, that's
not in this group.
That's a real thing.
That's some perspective that
That's a
I've
real
gained.
thing.
But yeah, fuck that. No, I'm taking that.
Yeah.
Really?
And people are sometimes like, oh, thank God.
Yep.
Someone did it.
That's how it is when we we have like our work meetings and stuff, and like no one would take like you just bring treats to the meeting, and no one would take the last one, and then like everybody's kind of sitting around waiting, and then like it's weird. It's a thing though.
It's funny that you guys bring that up. I haven't really seen that with food, but it's more of it would be other things. So let's say you know somebody wants to take a break for like it's a meeting, right? And people want to just get up, walk, or just use the bathroom, whatever, right? But no one's really gonna just ask or just say something. One person has to get up, has to make that initial move.
Well, that's the Minnesota goodbye. Yeah.
I didn't say shit. I literally, like, it was quiet for a few minutes. It was just a meeting. And this is a while back. I didn't say shit, but I had to use the bathroom. And I got up and I just left. Next thing I know, like 2 or 3 or 4 people started moving. And it's like, why didn't we just say we need a break?
Right.
There's no reason for us to be scared. So to your point, that makes a lot of sense. A little too nice? I don't know.
We've got
Polite?
our clicks.
What's the
Well,
word?
No,
What's
well,
the word for
everyone.
that?
So yes, everyone was also always saying. I think there was a article I was reading. Like, yep, this is what people think of Minnesota. Like I don't know, most frequently Googled thing or something like that. But like, yeah, they did like a word chart or graph or whatever. So stuff like George Floyd did come up, but like nice was number one.
Yeah.
Like nice, which is not true. It's passive aggressiveness at its finest.
Very passive aggressive.
So yeah, it's very, very nice to strangers. You can walk outside. You can be at a bus stop and pretty much talk to anyone you see about sports and the weather, and they'll actually hold a little conversation with you.
Sure.
But yeah, that's just being nice. Tell you what they really think, then get them behind closed doors, and then.
That's a good point. Yeah. You've been up here for how long? It's been a good minute for you, right?
Since I've been back.
No, I said Eric.
Oh yeah,
my
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, for about 8 or 9 years now.
Yeah, you're a Minnesotan yourself. What's something that stood out to you when you first came here, though? Like, damn, Minnesotans really rocking like this.
I don't know, because it's kind of no different than Milwaukee, bro. Like
Midwest.
yeah, it's like it was kind of the same, Actually, I haven't been around like the African culture like that. It is a lot up here, and I wasn't really used to that, but that really stood out to me.
Yeah.
Which is cool to see, Yeah, I don't know why they come to Minnesota. I don't know. It's so cold up here, but yeah, I don't know.
Well,
But that would be the main thing that stood out.
there are a lot of like that has happened a lot where people from other countries, like refugees, have come here.
Like the African Somali culture, like
A lot of Hmong too.
yeah, Hmong too. Yeah, is it like St. Paul? Like, is that kind of like the Hmong community? Is it St. Paul correct?
I would say so.
I think it's larger
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
You go over there, it's Hmong. You go East Lake Street, I would say. That's where you would find, Mexican Americans. Up in St. Cloud, surprisingly, a lot of Somalians. Big community out there, which is fucked up because I say it all the time. St. Cloud is one of the most racist places you could ever be. So you can imagine the heat that goes on there.
I don't know. Have you considered moving to Stillwater? I don't know. I mean, I feel like St. Cloud's pretty racist, but I feel like Stillwater would probably take it to another level.
Really? Okay. I don't know. Only time that I'm ever in Stillwater is for fucking Valley Fair. So that's it. What have you seen, Kevin? What have you heard?
No. Valley Fair's in Shakopee.
Oh, thank you. That's right. Oh, okay,
Opposite.
Stillwater
Opposite,
is.
yeah. So
yeah.
Stillwater Northeast along the St. Croix over there. Hoity-toity. They
Very,
voted
very
for,
hoity-toity.
I'm not going to turn this political, but they are the ones that elected Michelle Bachmann for multiple terms.
Oh, we're getting into it. Okay.
No, but that's nothing. I mean, that's just an example of like who they are. That they saw this person and they thought, yes, they deserve to be there even longer because they're doing such a great job. But that's neither here nor there.
Fair. Okay. Did have another question for you, sir.
Wait, what stood out for you though?
For me?
Making the switch, from Minneapolis to St. Cloud. Because, I mean, you notice a difference, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think I said this. I don't know if I feel like I said this on the pod or not. Is this. So here in the cities, you have a collective of people. Like, everyone is diverse, right? But you go to St. Cloud, there's a mix of people, but it's like they're just around each other. They're not really communicating. like we have conversations, right? You can talk to a stranger and it could be a lovely conversation. A black person, a Somalian, a white person can be together and they won't say a fucking word to one another. And you can feel that energy, you know what I'm saying? Like it'll be tense. There's no sort of inkling of what's going on with you or even a high. Like even for someone that you don't know, y'all know how it goes. You see a stranger, you make eye contact, there's a solid nod. Up there, it's not even that. It's kind of like a scoff. So,
What are you doing in my city?
yeah, basically. And then it's like, what the fuck are you looking at? I'm like, why is it so tense, man? I'm just getting bread. So, it's tough. It is tough. But that's something that I wanted to ask you, kind of going back to you leaving the state. You said that it was always your plan to come back home. And I feel like that is a Midwestern thing, not just Minnesotan. It's a Midwest thing.
Oh, absolutely.
But why? Why did it click in your head like, yeah, I'm always going to come back? Instead of, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to be here.
I would say primarily for me, it was more family related.
Uh-huh.
So I am an only child. I don't have any brothers or sisters or anything. And so I left the state when I was 24. So
Yeah.
a couple years
That's
out of
about right.
college after
Yeah.
going to the U. And yeah, I mean, I guess I always kind of thought 30 would be that time that, okay, you know, a lot of people use college as an opportunity, right? To like explore and try something else. And then they'll typically come back. Mm-hmm. I went to school like 3 miles from the house I grew up in. So I decided, you're still young. You still do a bunch of growing in your 20s. So yeah, now would be your chance to try something different. But then thinking about coming back, you know, by the time I'm 30, my parents are probably close to that retirement age. But you still got the quote unquote good years left. You know, they're not in a place where they need extra assistance or can still travel and do things. So
Okay.
I think that, but then also too, like going abroad, you kind of see all the things that you maybe didn't realize that your hometown had, that you're like, oh, actually that was really nice. Mm-hmm. Or like, you know, this is why I like Minneapolis better than Boulder or Anchorage or the Bay Area.
You see your home in a different light or a different perspective.
Right. And so you like find it and, you know, clasp on to the things that make each place unique. So like in Colorado, you got the mountains. Like you go to Denver, the mountain range is like another 30 miles west. Mm-hmm. But if in Boulder, which is where I was living, you got the Flatirons. Like you drive for like 5 minutes and you're in the mountains. So like you want to be someone that is really into like hiking or, you know, doing lots of physical activity, you know, trail running, shit like that. Alaska, you want to be in the wilderness. Again, more mountains and you got ocean. Mm-hmm. Both of them have like skiing and snowboarding. Bay Area, you have tech companies and you better like being crowded next to a bunch of people.
Well, you're making money, so
You're making money, and that's a thing. If I ever did get a position out there, if my internship turned into something, I probably would have taken the job, and been out there for maybe like a year or two tops. It would still never be anywhere you would want to set up shop because, at least there, up in Silicon Valley, it's got no character.
really?
No character whatsoever. You know, it's just like, it's like the ring of suburbs here. Like you got your Chili's. You got your AMC theater, you know, you got your mall you go to, whatever. It was just like cookie cutter, just like on an entire like neighborhood level. So like when people came out to visit me before everything really started shutting down, getting a rental car was more expensive Monday through Friday
Really?
than Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, so it was the exact opposite.
Damn.
So yeah, everyone there. Not that they all meant business. It's still West Coast, so it's still like super laid back and low key. But again, it's just like there's no identity. The identity is that people come here to work for giant tech companies, and that's it.
Okay. Well, shit. I
got a question. I was just thinking about when you like this is not related to like Minnesota or nothing. You mentioned you and your girlfriend, like no intentions of having kids, right?
Correct.
Yeah. How did that come about?
So
yeah.
I mean, that's some perspective too that I gained in my 20s because
Yeah.
again, like it's so ingrained in you as a child,
Yeah.
like the American dream,
Right.
that you have this potential.
and
You
fix.
can,
Yeah.
you can be successful if you work hard, and then you get married and you buy a house and you have a kid. That was some perspective I gained because like right out of college, I was going to get married at 26.
Oh, okay.
I was going to enjoy the marriage.
Didn't you say something like that? I feel like we all did. Like, I'm gonna get married at
Oh,
26.
absolutely. Yeah. No, I thought he was literally saying like this is what happened to him.
No.
Oh,
I was mistakenly saying I'm single. No, I'm not. I'm not single, but
Yeah.
I'm not married yet or engaged yet either.
No, yeah,
But
that was
so,
like
like,
growing up.
yeah,
that
I was
was
gonna get
the
married at what?
20 by 25, 26. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and then have kids later. I mean, kind of not all too different than some of my other friends that I've got. So probably try around 30 to try to have kids.
Yep.
I grew up an only child, so I wanted to have 2 kids. But then, it's like, you know what? There's enough people on this planet already.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to get into like other reasons, like say like
Right.
global warming or everything else that's
Yeah.
going on in the world, or like a
Right.
reason not to have kids, because that uncertainty has like always been there.
Yeah.
I mean, think about people during like World War II or like, well, I mean that was a shorter time, but like the Cold War. I mean, shit, that went on for decades. Like there was a bunch of uncertainty if you were going to get like nuked.
And did you already know that your girlfriend felt the same way before she was your girlfriend or after she was?
That's a good question.
She could have been convinced.
Really?
Either way. You know,
Okay.
if I had really, really wanted to have kids, you're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
But she was
we can do it. But I was very adamantly like, just like all this stuff changed, and it's like, you know what, like, there was a risk. Like maybe you get a kid that needs special attention.
Yep.
I think for her, it's evident firsthand as well because her older sister, is still living at home with mom and dad, and she's well into her mid-30s.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, are you prepared for that reality?
Yeah.
Good question.
Again, are you prepared for a kid that has more needs than another? So I mean, the risk is small.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, I mean, you're gonna love that child regardless. You
Right.
want that kid to have its best life. So are you ready for that kind of commitment?
Oh, yeah.
And
Very
I was
true.
like, I'm not against the idea of having kids, but maybe I'll adopt.
I was just about to ask you,
okay.
like, would you ever
Yeah.
consider that?
I don't think I will, but again, if for some reason at some
Something-
point in my
yeah,
life
you
that,
just
that
change,
decision does continue to evolve, I mean, and that's always a possibility. But yeah,
That's
it would
cool,
be to adopt because again, there's enough people that are deserving of having good homes out there already. So
That's fair.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, sir. Now, I kind of have, I wouldn't say a difficult question, but something that has been on my mind, and I think I've asked you this off the pod once, but you came back what, 2020, 2021?
June 2020.
That's what I thought. So, still in the pandemic, very fresh, but you were coming in when, not only were we in the pandemic, but riots were popping off, all of this shit. And from there, you see how everything transpired, like all of these different cases, especially all the things that we've talked about on the pod.
Yeah.
Like one death after another, one thing in the news, is just nonstop. As someone who is from Minnesota, what has been your experience? Like, what has it been like for you to see all of these things take place?
It's been interesting to say the least. I can't say I ever saw any of it coming. I mean, no one probably could have predicted this, or maybe someone wiser than I, or maybe someone that was more intimately involved or surrounded by this sort of stuff could kind of see these different kind of events. I mean, because there's just been so many different things with MPD getting in their own way. We'll
It's good.
say.
That's well said. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I was telling you guys earlier, like I tried to stay connected about what was going on back home because I would come back, probably 2-3 times a year, come back and see family and friends. But especially when stuff with George Floyd was going down, because that was right before I moved back. Like what? It was like the second to last week of May 2020, like May 25th or maybe 29th or something like that.
It was late
that
in the
everything went
month.
down. I moved back June 13th. So I remember like I had bought a bike. I moved back and I wanted to like go bike around because every time I came back home, there was a new restaurant here that had closed, whatever. But the big news at the time, was the riots and everything. So I got out on my bike.
And that's like right by you, right?
It is, yeah. I'm not too far from Uptown. So I saw plywood, everything's boarding up. There's still people sweeping up glass in the streets and the sidewalks and everything. So, but yeah, seeing all of that remote, and then everyone I'm working with my internship, like, I'm going back home. I'm moving back to Minneapolis. And people are like, oh, that sounds rough. I'm like, yeah, but you know what? I mean, it sort of needed to happen in a way, in a really weird way. But there was talk about like, what the future of the police would look like, and so I was really optimistic about like, okay, yeah, maybe this is this time that we take this unique moment of time to be able to make meaningful change. So again, I was super optimistic about it, and I wanted to be a part of that change. So that was kind of my attitude coming back during this moment in this city's history where, people have been going through some stuff.
What's it been like for you? I mean, to hear that you wanted to be a part of the change, what is something that you've done to do that?
So I was not going to go here, but here we are. It reminded me because this came up, I think, just the other night. I was talking with some friends, but there's a joke that Louis C.K. does where he's like sitting on a bus or something like that. He's sitting in the handicap section. Or maybe not even he's just sitting on the bus. Super packed bus, it's rush hour or something. Some little old lady gets onto the bus. She's walking with like a cane or a walker or something like that. And he goes, I should get up and get out of my seat and give it to this little old lady. But nah. I wouldn't dare. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to be. I just got on the bus. I got a long ways to go. But just that thought, just for me having had that thought, I feel good about myself. I feel warm and fuzzy because I'm such a sweet man. I even thought about giving up my seat to this little old lady. I'm going to go home and sleep easy tonight. But so to your point, to your question, right? What have I been able to do since I've been back? The short answer is not much. I mean, for reasons, complicated by pandemic and whatnot, there's not a lot that's going on. So it's even made the effects of all this like that much worse. But I live on the first block of South Minneapolis. And so I know a lot of focus and attention is kind of given to North Minneapolis. So there's more that I want to do, and I think that's everyone always has really, really good intentions, but it's just a matter of how do we organize, how do we channel that and be able to be the change that we want to see. So part of that's on me though too, for not actually having looked into it too much here. It was always kind of just like, people post on social media or something like that. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, or whatever. So that's a really great way, again, to kind of get people organized.
Yeah. But then you also see a lot of posting, reposting, but no action too. It's like
Just on the ground.
Yeah.
So that share is my moment. Yeah, like the Louis C.K. on the bus.
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
oh, well, I like this. I further the
I
cause.
bullshit you not. I was cleaning up. I was helping clean up on Lake Street, right over the building burned down.
Yeah.
So one of my former students, her family has they're like Native American, so they had like a spot there they would like go and like just their community, for their community, and that got burned down, so helping them clean up. And I see a bunch of people cleaning up. This car pulls up. The white girl gets out. It's like if something leaning against the wall, like a broom.
don't tell
I
me.
promise you, bro.
No.
I think I see where this is
Yeah.
going.
And while people were cleaning up, she picks up the thing, takes a picture of her, like, and gets back in the car, bro.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe I saw it. Like, it was like something off a movie or something. And I'm like, this is not real life. It's like,
I know what you're talking about. You saw it, like,
I
you
literally
actually
saw it.
I saw that.
Literally
some
saw
Instagram
it, bro.
model.
Yeah,
or-
like, I saw that.
Literally saw it. I couldn't
wild.
believe it, dude. Everybody out there busting their ass, helping clean the community, and then,
This woman.
damn, it's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I think, to be able to volunteer your time, I think, in my personal opinion, that's the thing that will probably make the most impact. I mean, money also helps as well.
Right, right.
Someone at my job, so fortunately for me, was able to organize and like, hey, for some of these homeless encampments, this is what we need. If you buy this, I've created an Amazon wish list. Like, you just buy it, it'll ship it to my house. But you just fund it, and then I'll make sure that it gets to the people.
Yeah.
So I was able to participate in that. So at least
cool.
it's something, but still, yeah. And it's a hard thing too. Is what exactly are trying to define the problem as well.
Yeah.
Is not always the easiest thing either.
So here's another question for you. I mean, just not only let me take a step back. Like, you came back during the pandemic and riots, but you've been home for some time now. Just being by South Minneapolis, or even being in Uptown specifically, because, we've hung out, you've seen how that has changed itself. It's basically completely different. We used to live over there, and like,
Lynn Lake hasn't changed as much
That's true.
as like Hennepin and like
Yeah.
but
That's
yeah,
very
it's still there. The police presence. Well, I think it was when our friend was in town,
yeah,
and he wanted to kind of come back and make the same old
Make the
loop
rounds,
that we would used to do.
hey, fuck you, Hammond. That's from the heart.
And what I don't know if someone was doing donuts while we were there, but like a couple of days before, people were doing donuts, like
Yeah.
shooting
We were
guns.
talking about this. We were talking about that.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
never when we were there. Would that just be like, oh, that's just another Tuesday?
That shit is wild, man.
Is Hammond in Kansas City?
We were just talking about this. He's stateside, which is good, because I know he was over by the shit for a second. But no, he's stateside now. Last time I heard, he is at like his cousin's wedding, but he should be in Chicago sometime soon. Hey, man, Future E, clip this. You next on the pod. I don't care when, man, but you gotta come on, sir. All right, we done got Micah, we done got Kevin, we done got a few other people. You on the list. Hurry the fuck up. Get home. So, that aside.
Can that be like a running gag on this now? Of
Until he comes.
But like where in the world is Andrew Hammond?
We can make that a segment, honestly. Just call him and be like, hey, where are you right now?
Call him.
Like your guess is as good as ours.
Yes, and then call him and see. Like,
Make a bet on it. $20 says he's over here right now.
What? Because he's been in Europe. He's like he climbed Mount Everest
He's
or
been
something.
everywhere.
But, yeah, he's been all over the map. So
But yeah, love you, man. Hope you're doing well. That aside, I don't have a question, but I do want to tell you something, because this has always run through my mind, and this is one of the reasons that I wanted you on the podcast, because we've known each other for over a decade. Jesus Christ, it's almost been a decade. Not thinking.
it has been,
Yeah.
Shit, 2012.
It's been a minute. One thing that I've always loved about you is that you know yourself more than most people. You've carried yourself as I'd say as a sturdy man, but traditionally, you know where your head's at. You know what you want, If you don't, you're going to figure that out. You know who your people are, and that's that. Like, I can't tell you how many times we would be out somewhere, and I would be like, I'd indulge someone in some bullshit. Kevin would immediately just cut that shit off. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, do we know that person? I'm like, no. He's like, well, fuck that person. I'm like, okay.
I can see that.
That's it.
I think I've actually been around one time.
I am so sorry. You had to see that.
But no, that's real. The big thing as well is, just as you said, you now live in your childhood home. You're still around the neighbors that you grew up with. That's something that is not only Midwestern, but it's very Minnesotan. However, the thing that I very much love about you is that you are still open to a conversation with people. There are moments where you're like, I'm not fucking with this person, but most of the time you're like, yeah, what are you about? What are you into? And I feel like that's something that is not only lacking in the Midwest, but especially here, especially after everything that's popped off. Because clearly the riots took place for a reason, not just George Floyd. Like, that was going to happen no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So, thanks, man. Thanks for being you. Really appreciate it.
I've waited so long for this moment. Here we are. No, but I mean, those are really, really kind words. I can't believe it comes off that way. That I appear to have my shit together and know who I am, but I mean, shit, I don't know who I'll be a week from now. But
my man, you were in your fucking 20s and you were making beer out of the garage, and I was like, who does this?
These are true statements. Well, so okay, my buddy from college, he would hook me up. So when I was a freshman at the U, he was brewing beer. He just became a junior, so he was turning 21. He could buy the stuff, but even before he could do that, turns out you can start brewing beer legally at the age of 18, even though the drinking age
is 21.
Yeah. So he's the one that kind of sparked my interest in that, because as a freshman, even he couldn't go to the liquor store and buy booze for us right away. Yeah. But he told us if we collected empty bottles at all these parties, that I'd bring like a case over or something like that, and he would fill them, and I would get like maybe a 6-pack or 2 in return for doing nothing, for collecting bottles. That didn't even cost me anything, and he would fill it for me. So that's where that came from. But yeah, I did do that. I've been meaning to get back into it, but now at this time, as a more mature Kevin in his early 30s, it's like, oh shit, I'm drinking way too much alcohol, and this is not going to help it. So I look at that time in my life with rose-colored glasses. But yes,
it was a good time. Have you ever made beer?
No, absolutely not. But
as a beer connoisseur, I feel like that's something
I work with a guy that makes his own beer, and it's pretty fucking good. Like, he always invites us over at the last day of school. Mm-hmm. Him and his wife, we kind of have like an end of the year party, and we just go drink his beer, man. It's pretty cool.
That's good.
I wish I knew how to do it, but it's just work. I don't have the resources or like the space for that shit either, So
you'd be surprised. Fucking tell him.
What? Wait, what all it takes? I mean, it's easy. It's a 3-step process.
Really?
It's sanitize, sanitize, sanitize.
Okay.
Turns out, you need super clean work area and equipment, because even though you're working with stuff and you're going to create alcohol, it's not enough to take care of that stuff for you. So you got to be really conscious about that. Yeah. But see, now there's another person that's like, oh, I would be open to home brewing. My biggest thing, it's so much work for just one person to do it all. So I had people that kind of showed some interest when I was here doing it at the time, but I was still the one doing all the work at the end of the day. So we'll see. I don't know.
What is it? Is it like,
there's house projects.
2-man job or?
I'd say, a 2-man. I mean, the more the merrier, right? You're all sitting around probably enjoying and drinking a beer while you're making it. Like,
sure.
But it is probably like a half day ordeal on a brew day. Right? So like you're bringing like 10, 15 gallons of water to boil, You know, you're putting the stuff in, the grains, the hops, and everything. So you got to get everything clean beforehand. Then you can do it, and then once you're done, then you got to clean everything again because you're putting it into storage. So, but anyways, in case you're curious how to make beer, that's how you make beer. The short version of it. But yeah, I mean,
Synopsis. Nice. So now I do have one final question for you. So for all your travels, you know, even just being home, you start up a conversation with the stranger, right? You're not even here. You're out in the world, and you tell them that you're from Minnesota. And they say that they've never been. What are some words you would give them? Like, how would you describe it? And B, what's something that you would tell them to be aware of?
Am I speaking to someone that's from like the U.S. or am I like abroad? Because there's two different answers.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Let's get both perspectives.
Yeah, let's start stateside.
Stateside. So if anyone's been to Chicago, I mean, we've all been to Chicago. You live close to Chicago, near Milwaukee. But yeah, we were like the Seattle to Chicago, kind of a younger, more hip, cool art scene. Got a lot of outdoor areas. We got a bunch of lakes and shit. That comes as no surprise to a lot of people. But actually, really, really good and cool food scene as well. You got like the Walker Sculpture Garden.
I do agree.
Well.
I do agree with that.
A ton of trails if you want to get outside and go walk around, bike around or whatever. E-bikes are coming a thing.
Yeah.
The craft beer scene, like again, food scene. So there's enough stuff going on.
Well, how would you describe the people?
The people, well, man, I mean, on the one hand, I'm trying to sell Minnesota or Minneapolis.
I shouldn't say. I shouldn't say people. I should say the culture. That's what it is. The culture.
I mean, again, on a surface level, nice. I mean, you're here for 7 to 10 days or whatever. Are you really gonna try to find things on a deeper level about who these people are? I don't know. I don't feel like I do that when I travel. So they'll have a good time, and then again, that's how that stigma kind of reinforces itself. All the people were so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. What about someone that's not stateside? That's
not stateside. Well, then honestly, so when I was abroad in Italy, and I would have this conversation with people that were Italian. They're like, tell me about what you know about the U.S. And they're like, New York, Miami, Los Angeles. So my answer to them would be, we're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
No one's ever heard of, because, then I would try to use, I would use Chicago again. Like, for reference, like by Chicago. And they're like, what's Chicago? Is that New York or Miami?
Yeah.
No. No, it's not.
Although now, it's 2022, and with everything that has not only changed but transpired, we'll say, Minnesota is now on the map, I'd say.
For all the wrong reasons. But yes, people now know we exist, so I guess maybe that's progress we can believe in. But so here's the other thing, though. And I was alluding to this earlier, but I don't necessarily try to play up Minnesota too much or Minneapolis in the Twin Cities area. Even when I was living abroad, because it was like, man, I had been around Denver and seen the explosion of people that just happened there, and it's really because weed was legalized. Let's just get that out there.
Call a spade a spade. Let's be real.
But between that and Denver, if I didn't move to Anchorage, I probably would have moved to Portland. And again, just an explosion of people there. People coming up from California. People actually from California going to both Colorado and Oregon. But I did not want Minneapolis to not just to fall victim, but just become that next place. And I think fortunately for us, it's too damn cold here in the winter time. Yeah. So anyone did have something positive to say about it, I'd be like, no, you don't want to live there because it's too hot in the summer. Right. It's too cold in the winter. You're better off elsewhere. Go to Denver. But yeah, so again, I speak about it. I give them my honest opinion. But then I always do try to sneak in there. But, oh, yeah, this is why you won't like it. So you won't move here.
Oh, bless your face. But that's happened. I mean, from Super Bowl 2018 all the way to now, you've seen a lot more people from other states live here. North Dakota, Florida, or excuse me, Georgia, I should say. Florida as well. Where else? Even some from California. People have become aware of our state, and they're like, that might be a good spot. That might have a lot of resources. And so, as a traditional Minnesotan, you kind of look and you're like, "What the fuck are you doing here, man?"
I got a question for both of you. Can you explain to me the cherry in the spoon?
What's there to explain?
What is the significance of
It's
that?
a cherry that's on a spoon.
But why is it a thing?
You asking too many questions, sir.
It's kind of like the new one, right? It's the blue cock.
Oh, yeah. Why is that a thing?
I don't know. I also saw it when I was in D.C.
Really?
A few years ago. I don't know if there's this.
You saw that same one?
I don't know if it's the same one, or maybe they got like 2 or 3 different ones or something like that. But yeah, I saw it at a museum in D.C. first. But yeah, the cherry and the spoon. I don't know why is the Walker the way that it is. But I guess our cherry and the spoon is like the Space Needle in like Seattle, or the Empire State Building in Chicago.
Here's a question for you. Back in Milwaukee, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'll even say this. So you ask about the cherry and the spoon. I have no fucking clue, honestly. But because I'm born and raised here, that's just in the back of my mind. It's like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's the same with like the Mall of America. It's like, why is the largest mall in America in Minnesota? It's like, I don't fucking.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to the park or not? It's like, it just is.
Well, we own it. We were the first ones to invent the indoor mall.
Were we?
Yeah, Southdale. Southdale was the first like enclosed mall in the entire country.
Damn.
I didn't know that.
There were outdoor malls. There were outdoor malls, but
Yeah.
again, here they were like, it's so cold here that people don't want to be outdoors, even if it's for like 2 seconds to go from one shop to the next.
Damn.
Southdale is the first mall.
But to that, my question for you is there something in Milwaukee that is similar to like the cherry and the spoon, where you're like, it just is?
Oh, yeah. Our, what do you call it?
The
we got-
PBR brewery.
No, what's the sky? What do you call it? Why am I blanking on this? Everyone has them. It's like on the water. Not usually not on the water, but why am I blanking on this?
Kid doesn't even know his own city.
Oh, I got the fucking tattoo of it.
All right, well, I mean,
Like,
roll up
literally,
your
like,
sleeve then.
What do you call that? You know, like an attraction.
Fucking.
Why can't I think of it?
I have
What is
no
it?
idea.
What is? God damn it!
It's like a
Skyscraper?
Not a skyscraper though, but it's like the.
Cityscape?
Something like that.
Good.
What the fuck am I? I'm blanking, but you know.
This is a to be continued, but basically that thing.
We'll Google
that
it.
thing.
We'll Google
It's
this
that
later.
thing.
Oh, why can't I think of the word? Oh my god, I really like. It's like blank as fuck right now.
You know what?
It's not like cityscape,
give it a minute.
skyline.
It'll come back.
It's a silhouette like of a skyline.
Yeah,
Skyline.
Skyline.
Yeah,
Yeah, I said
Skyline.
Skyline.
You did? Okay, yeah.
The tapes will prove it.
The skyline is pretty unique in Milwaukee. It's pretty cool. That really is the main. And then like downtown, like just kind of like the lakes and shit downtown.
Yeah.
It's pretty significant. But yeah, I would say the damn, I just forgot the fucking word again. The sky. What is it?
Skyline.
Skyline. The skyline. Yeah.
Okay. I got.
And cheese, of course.
Yeah. Of course.
We have the Wikipedia pulled up.
Yep. So history on the spoon and the cherry. In the mid-1980s, the Walker Art Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, commissioned a piece of work from married couple Claes Oldenburg and Kuzet. What is with people in these fucking names? Whose first artistic collaboration came in 1976. Blah blah blah. The work, which had its $500,000 budget donated by the art collector, was to be placed in the new outdoor sculpture garden, which we have seen for God knows however. Another concept for the sculpture was a Viking ship. Blah, 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 blah,
A
blah.
Viking ship?
Yeah. With a dragon figurehead set in a circular reflecting motion, which makes sense because Minnesota Vikings, yeah. It describes the vision of quickly abandoned whatever. Spoon.
When the last time you been to the Walker Art Museum?
My birthday.
What'd you go for? Like, what'd you do?
What'd we do?
What? That's when the people from Kansas City came up, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where
Which
were
is
you?
funny.
Oh, that's right. You were
I was
gone.
out
We
of
talked about
town.
this
Yeah,
last
yeah,
night.
yeah. Dude, that place is fucking cool, dude. Like, I didn't realize, I've only been in there once, but I did the little mini golf shit up top.
There's mini golf?
There is mini golf, and
It's
I've always
actually
been
pretty
aware
cool.
of it, and I've never done it.
It's actually pretty cool. It's like 10 holes.
It's
but
designed by artists, I think.
Look, we don't even know our fucking city.
Well, so I mean, for being someone who's from here, like, yeah, I went to the Walker a number of times as a kid. I do miss the greenhouse. They took that away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was always kind of a
Yeah,
nice
they got like
thing,
a nice
but,
little restaurant in there too. Like, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, but that it was like I grew up like less than a half a mile away from it, so it never really occurred to me as something like that an outsider, someone visiting, would ever want to have interest in. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just this thing. You can just kind of drive by it, but
Right.
no, like you get out and walk around. That's actually pretty cool.
I know. That's how I was just used to just driving by. I'm like, but then this girl invited me to mini golf, and I'm like, damn, this is kind of cool.
Okay, now I have it. Martin Friedman, director of the Walker, said of the work that the artist did not intend to craft, and I quote, a sculpture symbol of Minneapolis, but that he believed Spoon Bridge and Cherry, which is what it's called, would be a landmark and would give a lot of people pleasure. So,
Yeah, that definitely is true.
yeah. So it sounds like it was kind of an accident, but
It worked.
it made sense. Like, yeah, okay.
Spoon Bridge and Cherry.
Spoon Bridge and Cherry.
Okay.
It's actually looking better than ever.
Yeah.
Did you hear about it? They just repainted it.
Really? That happens? I didn't know that.
Yeah, the cherry, the cherry went to New York for like 90 days, for the better part of 3 months to get repainted, and so it was just the spoon.
When? When was this? I didn't.
I swear the cherry got put on like last month.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
Did you
valid.
ever go by and just see a spoon and you were like, where the fuck?
Maybe once. Maybe once. I haven't been in that area in quite some time.
I mean, it's fine. It really needed it. That cherry looked like it had been smoking for 30 years.
Or something was smoked out of it, whatever. But anyways, let's wrap this up. Last call.
We've
We're
taken
just-
this in
we're
a
just talking.
completely
Yeah.
different direction.
I sound like shit right now. Whatever.
There was a lot of things that were talked about. Oh boy. Where do you even start? You know what? I'll just go back to no, never. Always gotta have a last call. I just go back to what I said before. It's like, thank you for coming on, sir.
Wait, is this your last call?
Yeah,
Oh, you didn't announce it.
I said last call.
No, you didn't.
Did I not? Son of a bitch! I said last call. I said
claim
last
innocence.
call. Let's wrap this up. Okay, last call. Let's wrap this up. No, just kind of thinking about the conversations that have taken place today. I think one thing that really stands out to me, even though I have it in the back of my head all the time, I really need to make an attempt to be not only the person that I want to be, but as someone who's born and raised here, I have to set that kind of example. It's like, all right. Because I honestly hate the term Minnesota nice. I can't stand it. anytime that's used or any time that somebody sees us that way, because I am not that.
But I will say you have a lot of Minnesota pride, though,
Oh, absolutely.
and I do appreciate that. Like you're trying to make it like a positive, like a positive thing. That's pretty,
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. That's the thing. That's the difference between Minnesota pride
Yes, very,
and Minnesota nice.
for sure.
I'd rather be prideful and I'd rather be kind or known as kind or even as an asshole than nice. So that just lets it be known for me. It's like, okay, I have to do more, not only for myself, but as a person who does take pride in my state.
Yeah.
So,
Got to represent as well. But you know where it comes from, right?
no.
With the Minnesota Nice. So I'm not going to drag this on for too long, but the short of it is there's a lot of Scandinavians that live here.
Yeah.
A lot of Swedish,
yeah.
Norwegian. And we got the brutal winters here, for like 9 months out of the year. So when you're cooped up indoors with all those people, you kind of still have to be able to get along with the people that you're living with or the people that you're surrounded with. So, if you tried to ruffle the feathers on someone or whatever, you're stuck inside with them for the next 8 months or whatever, it's going to be pretty awkward. So a lot of those traits kind of carried over from that region. So then, again, you try not to do anything that's going to make anyone terribly upset or whatever.
Don't
so you
rock
kind
the
of dog,
boat or
yep,
anything.
and yep, exactly. And then you're just super passive aggressive about it.
I never thought about that. Thank you, Kevin. Man, fuck all that.
Kevin got all the facts.
Yeah, you do for real.
Kevin got all the
I've
facts.
had a few conversations about this, but anyways, yeah, that's the short version of it.
All right. Okay. Yeah, no, fuck all that. I would gladly get into a debate or an argument if it means that we grow from it. Even if we walk away from it and being like, I don't think we see eye to eye. Fine. But we not gonna sugarcoat shit. E, my man, what do you got?
Oh man, I don't know. We were all over the place, man.
That's all.
Fucking eye is irritated. I don't know. Thanks for coming on, man. Like, it was just interesting to like, cause a lot of stuff I really didn't know. Like, I didn't know you were in fucking Alaska or like the Bay Area. Shit, this is pretty cool, man. It just, do you? I guess I just got a last like a
Question.
Are you? Do you plan on just traveling more a lot, or is that your thing, or do you like?
That's a good question. So when you don't have kids, it turns out you have time to travel and do other things.
Right. That's all.
Life.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, going back to 20 minutes ago or whatever. But yeah.
So what's your next destination?
It's funny because I was literally telling Romero this
Last
last night. Yeah. But I'm going to be going to Iceland.
Damn. Okay.
In July, which it was going to originally be a trip to Alaska back home. Rachel's never been, but we decided when we looked at booking hotels, rental car prices, and everything is like, well, if we're going to be spending this kind of money, I'd rather
Go somewhere you have
go somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we might go to Portland pretty soon. Maybe we'll go to like New York City. Neither of us really spent a ton of time there.
Okay.
But yeah, finding different things. Yeah,
I like that. I like that. Yeah, man. Well, just thanks for coming on and
thank you.
sharing the knowledge and fun facts about Minnesota. I really like that. Do you have any last?
Yeah, what's your last call, sir?
No.
What are your final thoughts?
Well, yeah. First and foremost, thank you so much for having me. This was really delightful. Not that I claim to be any sort of like Minnesota historian or anything like that whatsoever. I'm not like guy that you bring on. You're like you have like some question or something like that. You're like, actually, we got to get Kevin on the scene. He'll get to the bottom of this.
I mean, anyways, sorry. Go ahead.
But no, I don't really have much else. Again, it's kind of cool to see the other side of the podcast and how you guys do this. So I've listened for what? You guys have been doing this for over a year now.
Yeah.
At this point.
We're still here.
Still around.
Still making it work.
Yeah.
I'm excited though. Who knows? Maybe we got to get Hammond on here first. before I make a second appearance, or maybe I can just really show him up and like maybe come back for another taping or two.
You are welcome anytime, my man.
You are on the recurring list, sir.
I'm a fan of guests. I just realized that. Like, we have some good conversations, man.
Yeah.
So.
We always walk away from it like we learned something new. Yeah. So thank you, brother. Appreciate you coming on. All right. E, you want to let the people know about the socials?
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. This has been another episode of the Symposium podcast. Like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube. You'll find these two ugly mugs or beautiful faces, whatever you feel, on Symposium podcast, Instagram, TikTok. No Twitter yet, but we'll figure it out.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
All right. E. Wright, Mr. McCrane, and you know who it is, Rose Gold. Thank y'all for tuning in. Symposium Podcast, episode 56. Calling it. We're going to do another.
Gotcha.
All right. Till next time, we out.